Hey everybody, hope you're good. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Abby, and if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. And Happy New Year too. I'm not sure if it's too late to say it, but I'm just gonna say it anyway because this is the first official video I'm actually recording in 2023. Yay me. So in this video I will be talking about the Roche Posay Anthelios Factor 50 Plus UVMune 400, if I can get my words out right, Invisible Fluid Sunscreen, and this is what it looks like. So I did a video on the previous version of this, and that was the Shaka Fluid, which is very similar packaging, to be very honest. This is the Shaka Fluid. I still have a few drops of this, and I saved this on purpose just so I can have something to compare with when I did buy the UVMune 400, just to make sure that I remember exactly what it felt like. So I'm going to focus on this, and I might reference the old formula as well, but really the video is about this, the UVMune 400. I'm sure you would have seen a couple of videos on this already. This is definitely not new, but this is just the time I have to finally review this. I've been sitting on this for quite a few months, so I have a very well-rounded opinion on how it feels on my skin and how it looks and how it wears as well. As the name suggests, this is the UVMune 400. There are quite a lot of sunscreens under the UVMune line. It's a whole line with this new filter. So the key filter in this, which makes it quite a special line, is the Mexoryl 400 filter. It's the newest filter out to the market, and there are some hefty claims in terms of what it can achieve in terms of sun protection or UV light protection, specifically UVA. If you're new to sunscreen, or maybe you haven't heard this before, or you've forgotten, again, UVA is for me probably the one that's probably more insidious. It's a type of UV light that does the most amount of damage over a long period without you necessarily seeing the physical effects of it until much later on down the line, because it can penetrate deeper layers of the skin and lead to wrinkles and ultimately cellular damage as well, and photoaging, of course. UVB more commonly results in burns on the skin, and being a person of color, I don't necessarily get burnt in really extreme heat, to be honest. And yeah, so that's not necessarily I don't physically see my skin get burnt. I'm pretty sure the damage would be done if I wasn't wearing sunscreen, and I might not just see it. That's probably the thing to bear in mind. But anyway, so you've got UVA, UVB. So really UVA is what we want to focus on. Generally speaking, broad spectrum protection is good for people of all skin tones, but for me, and just knowing how UVA rays are, that's really what I look for in a sunscreen, just how much UVA protection it can afford me. So speaking of afford, this is I think about £19.50 full price, depending on where you get it. I never pay full price for anything if I can, and I definitely wouldn't pay £19 for something that is 50 ml of product, no matter how good it is. So I always get it on discount, and I would advise you do the same. So on discount, you can probably get it from anywhere from £12, £12.50, sometimes even £11, depending on the kind of discount you can get, all the way to about £14. That's the kind of discount that would make me want to stock up and buy it. So yeah, I buy it from lookfantastic.com, Feel Unique, and essential.com, and also I believe Just My Look as well. Those are the websites I tend to rotate in terms of my skincare or my sunscreens, and because those websites tend to at least have, one of them will have some kind of offer going at some point, so that's where I normally shop for my sunscreens. So yeah, the price is a bit expensive because for a drugstore sunscreen, that is more on the upper end, if you ask me. But because it is La Roche Posay, none of the products are like cheap, like real cheap, drugstore cheap. So yeah, there is that. So in terms of this itself and what it claims, it does afford you broad spectrum protection, UVA and UVB protection, that is, and it doesn't actually say what the PA rating is. On the previous one, I think it did have a PA plus. Yeah, so this new one doesn't actually say that on the packaging, but again, the key thing with this is that it actually doesn't only give you UVA UVB protection, it gives you long UVA protection as well. So on that, I'm going to see if I can get the same chart that I saw on Chemist's video. So she does lots of sunscreen reviews, she gives lots of in-depth information, but she has dry skin, so yeah, her preferences are very different from mine in terms of what I look for in a sunscreen. So yeah, she gives a lot of information, and she did reference a chart, I think, that had all the possible sunscreen filters, including the Mexoryl 400 and where it actually where it rates. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much because again, that's a bit too sciencey for me. As far as I know, it has this key filter, which is the Mexoryl 400. No other brand has this, and that Mexoryl 400 actually achieves far more in terms of long UVA protection. The key thing I got from watching a couple of videos myself is that the UVMune 400 does have 8 filters in comparison to the 6 that the previous version has, and of course of the 8 it has the Mexoryl 400, which no other brand has. It's a patented L'Oreal filter. And the only thing that I definitely would mention in terms of other ingredients in here, it does have alcohol, denatured alcohol, quite high on the list. I think most people should be fine with this. If you don't already know, alcohol is really there as a solvent, really to help the penetration or to help disperse the product, so it gives it that light feeling. Is one of the best ingredients for that, from watching other chemists or cosmetic formulators, shall I say. That's usually the purpose of denatured alcohol. It dissolves, it doesn't hang around on your skin, so it's really limited, really minimal, if any, type of damage to most people's skin, unless you are highly sensitive to it for whatever reason. So in terms of how it feels, I do notice some differences. So I'd say, so you still have to shake it, so you can see there's some left in this old container for the Shaka fluid. And the only thing I'd definitely say is obvious is the fact that this is a lot more yellow on the skin than the Shaka fluid. So this long one here, you probably can't even see it up close. They both look white, ironically, but this has a yellow tinge to it, the UVMune 400, and the Shaka fluid is much more white. When I applied it to my skin, I did notice that it disappeared really quickly, just like the previous version, the Shaka fluid. The only other thing I'd say is I think this has a slightly tackier, just not tacky, it's not visibly tacky, it's just the components of it are slightly different. So even though it looks even though it looks like it's just as runny as the Shaka fluid, it felt ever so slightly tackier on the skin than the Shaka fluid. And then it's also probably about the same level of shine. When I say shine, it's not typically like, I don't know, like it's not oily or greasy on the skin. It's more a slight glow, and it does settle as well. And because it doesn't, at least on my skin, I didn't notice it getting any oilier or worse over the day, like over a long day. And it layered really well as well. There are times when I've layered it on my skin, like because I sometimes get up really early, I apply it, and then when I need to go do the school run, I'll apply it again. Especially if I'm not wearing any makeup, I'll just apply another one, especially during the summer when I actually tried this. I didn't have any problems applying it. Didn't pill, it didn't ball. It was great around the eyes. I also didn't have a problem with the Shaka fluid around my eyes as well. So there is that. I know some people do have sensitivity around their eyes sometimes, but maybe that's more of a personal thing really. So in terms of the claims, so I'm just going to read from the Essential website because I just happen to be on there anyway. So on the description it says, protect your skin from UV damage with Roche Posay Anthelios UVMune 400 Invisible Fluid SPF 50 plus, a lightweight and hypoallergenic facial SPF that's resistant to sand, water and sweat. So that's one of the like opening pieces of copy on the description for this product. It says, it gives you reasons as to why you love it. It says it's lightweight, invisible facial sunscreen for all skin types, offers broad spectrum protection against UVA, UVB and ultra long UVA rays, non-sticky formula that doesn't leave white marks, minimalist hypoallergenic formula that's tested on sensitive skin, and it features the travel-friendly design with the mess-free nozzle, ideal for outdoors sporting enthusiasts. The ophthalmologically tested formula doesn't sting your eyes, so no more suffering from sunscreen sweating down your face. It's even suitable for contact lens wearers too, which is a plus. So yeah, that's as much info as I'm gonna dwell on. How it feels on my skin, I've already said. It applies really nicely, disappears really quickly. It has a yellow tinge, and I did notice in some reviews, some people did say because of the yellow tinge it did stain. Not on Essential, but just from general Google reviews. So you might test to see if that's an issue for you, but I never noticed that. Of course it's non-perfumed if that's an issue for you. For me, I prefer my sunscreens to be non-perfumed, really. Don't know why, it's just a preference. And in terms of the finish, like I said, it has a slight shine, but what I do now these days is to just powder over my sunscreen if I want it to last all day, if I know I'm gonna wear makeup on top, and that's just what I do. I don't blot my sunscreen anymore because, again, now I know better, because that can affect some of the coverage that you can get. So if you've been blotting oil off your sunscreen, don't do that. Just powder down and that should be enough, and then you can go on top with your makeup or go barefaced if you want to. So just as a quick tip or as a quick FYI, I really like this sunscreen. I don't want to dwell too much on this. I really like this sunscreen. It is a good replacement, I'd say. Some people were complaining in some of the reviews I did see that it's not the same, or you know, whatever, but for me it performs, I mean, as far as I know, it performs just as well. I can't test for UVA, I can't test for cellular damage or anything like that. If anything, just based on the fact that this has the best technology in terms of sunscreen filters, this is by far the best sunscreen on the market, I will say. Yeah, I definitely will say that, because just no other sunscreen contains this filter. For my oily skin, this is really good. Of course, no white cast from what you would have seen from my demo, and yeah, and I continue to use it. I will continue to purchase it. Doesn't mean I'll stop doing sunscreen reviews because I found my holy grail, but there are more than enough merits to this. The only thing I don't love is the price. I'd say that travel friendly as it does promise to be, and it disappears really nicely because it's so light and runny. In terms of how you apply it, it might be easier just to put it on your palm and then rub it on your face as quickly as possible, because it is quite runny, so you don't really want it dripping down on your clothes. But yeah, so that's as much as I want to say on this, and I really like it. I just don't love the price. I only buy it when it's discounted, and I advise you do the same. So if money is not that big of an issue for you, if you don't have that price threshold, you don't like to cross like me when it comes to sunscreens, have at it and buy it full price. So I'm going to leave the link to the chemist I referred to. She had a really short and snappy review on this, and again, like I said, she has dry skin, so if you have dry skin and you know, or you just want to have like a more professional view on this, I'm going to refer to her video. Glow by Ramon also did a video on this, I believe, but I couldn't find the comparison video I thought I saw from him. I'm not sure, but he did a video on the whole range, so I'll leave that as well if you want to check out his review. I love Ramon. If you want to see more reviews, please do hang out to the end of the video. On the cards you will see all my sunscreen reviews to date, if you want to just see what I think of some of the other drugstore sunscreens out there. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That really does help a small channel like myself out. Share my videos if you want to help a sister out as well, and subscribe if you feel like you want to keep up and see more from me. And until next time, stay blessed, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.